Hi, my name is Adam Greydon Reid. I'm the voice of Justin from Total Drama Island and Wayne from 16. And you're watching Du Bois podcast.
No biggie. You missed the pivotal scene. That's a complete travesty. If I were you, I would demand free rentals for a year.
This is Justin. Welcome to Total Drama Island.
Thanks, Chris. This is great.
Just so you know, we picked you based entirely on your looks.
I can deal with that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bois Podcast. My guest today is a voice actor, writer, producer, and director, and many more. You may have heard his voice as Wayne in 16, Justin in the Total Drama series, and you may have seen him as Mr. Stoneman in When Calls the Heart, Hobbs in iZombie, Peter Beckert in Lost in Space, and Will in Hospital Show, and many more. So welcome, Mr. Adam Greydon Reid. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you, Joe. It's a real pleasure. Thanks. And it was great that you guys reached out.
Yeah, it's great to have you on, Adam.
Yeah. So you're a fan of Total Drama, huh?
Yes. Favorite show of all time.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Adam, what have you been up to? How are you doing? How are you doing, Adam?
I'm good. It's been a crazy couple of years. It's been very full. How has the pandemic been for you guys? Where are you where are you based?
Chicago, Illinois.
You're in Chicago. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm in Vancouver, and what we've been really lucky with here in Vancouver on the West Coast is that we have a longer summer and a shorter winter. So we've been able to, the flowers are blooming in late January here, and so we've been playing tennis and going on bike rides already for, really we could start being outside, early March kind of thing.
Wow.
So so it's been really great to just be, already enjoying the spring. That's what I'm doing. Nice. I was doing some jobs. I direct commercials as well, and I had a fairly busy January, February, and then came home and got to go skiing with my son. So that was fun.
Nice.
And then we've been playing tennis. So it's great because Vancouver offers both. Like you can go to the mountains when you want the winter, and you can, stay in the city when you want the spring or the summer. It's great.
Nice. I always, no offense, thought Canada was super cold because it's Canada. There's snow. If that makes sense. Sorry if that makes sense. Yeah.
We have the exact same weather as any state that's close to the border. Basically, if we're other than in the West Coast, we have we have the same weather as Seattle.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's basically a lot of rain. It's pretty wet, but it's not a lot of snow either here. Whereas I know you guys have pretty much the same winter as, say, Toronto.
Wow. So so Chicago's like Toronto, like you said.
Yeah, Toronto. It is. It actually is. Yeah, because you're both lake cities, and you actually have very similar weather.
Wow.
Hot in the summer, right? Super hot in the summer, cold in the winter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold and dry in the winter.
Believe it or not, I don't know if my connection's bad. I think that's raining right now. If you can hear,
Is it?
Yes.
Well, surprisingly, it is not raining here in Vancouver.
Wow.
For once. No, it's been kind of wet these last few days, but yeah, we got a nice day.
Wow. Okay, so Adam, what made you want to become a voice actor and actor? And who would you say is your biggest inspiration for acting and voice acting, would you say?
Well, it's funny because I didn't think that I wanted to be a voice actor, but when I think back to my childhood, I was impersonating teachers. I was immediately doing voice related things. I was really interested in the things that I could do with my voice from a very, very early age. I think there's a guy named Rich Little. He's you ever heard of him?
Probably not. Sounds a little familiar, but I could be wrong if you mentioned it.
Yeah, Rich Little is one of the original impersonators. So he used to do all of the sort of vaudevillian, George Burns and W.C. Fields. He did all of those people. And then he also did Johnny Carson. And so he had this, he was an impressionist. And that's what he did. And he was very famous in the, I would say it's probably 70s, 80s.
Okay.
And so I remember watching him on a Christmas Carol special where he played all of the characters.
Oh my God.
So he played Mr. Scrooge as W.C. Fields, and W.C. Fields talks a bit like this, and he had Mr. Cratchit was this was this guy that he used to do called Paul Lynn. Paul was on the Hollywood Squares, and he talked like this. Oh, Mr. Scrooge. And so I started to impersonate all the people that Rich Little impersonated.
Wow.
And then I started doing my teachers, and that's sort of how I got into the voice side of things. And then I was like watching the Muppets and Sesame Street, and I would do Kermit the Frog and Fozzie Bear, and any of the Frank Oz voices actually sound fairly similar. If you can do Fozzie, you can do Bert. Bert doing the pigeon, and then you can do any of the Jim Henson characters that sound similar to Kermit. So I started working on all of the Sesame Street characters, Cookie Monster, and all of those sort of. Anybody that appeared on Sesame Street or Muppets as well, because those were hilarious shows to me and big inspirations as a kid. So, and I think also sketch comedy, like the Muppets and Sesame Street were essentially sketch shows. I mean, Sesame Street was teaching you stuff, but they were sketch comedy. And I think I gravitated towards British comedy as well. Like Monty Python was I was a big fan of Monty Python. And so I was also working on Monty Python sketches when I was a little kid. Wow. Yeah. And that's how I got started.
Because believe it or not, my parents, my mom in particular, she helped me she raised me in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the older stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I mean, so that's sort of, I got my start in kids TV as on this show, You Can't Do That on Television, which was big in the States. It was the show that invented green slime.
Okay.
And that kind of launched Nickelodeon. But we were this little show that was made in Ottawa, and it was like my paper route. It was really not a glamorous thing at all. It was just kind of my part-time job. And I remember writing to the producer of the show saying, "My name is Adam. I know I can be on. I know because the show was made in Ottawa, where I grew up." And I told him all my skills and that I could do impressions of W.C. Fields and Paul Lynn and Carol Channing, and would you hire me, kind of thing. And so it's funny that the voices again. I thought that was special that I could do these voices. And that got me into interview with the producer, and that sort of got me started in the industry.
So the origins of the legendary Adam, Greydon, Reid, right? The origins of the legend.
That's the origin story. That's the myth. Yeah, that's the early origin. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was into comic books in terms of stories. I was into comic books and Star Wars also. Released in '78, blew my mind as a kid. And I think Star Wars really was, the beginning of me loving to tell stories, getting all the figures and telling stories with the figures, and I would be consumed with this. So it was kind of like this three-pronged, Star Wars was the beginning of me being interested in storytelling. Mm-hmm. And then Muppets, Rich Little, Sesame Street, all those voices was kind of the beginning of my fascination with voice work. Wow. And then the comedy stuff I think came from British stuff like Monty Python.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Who's your sorry, off topic? Who's your favorite superhero since you read comics? Do you have a favorite superhero?
I mean, Superman was. I was a Superman fan. I know that sounds boring, but he was. Maybe I thought because I had black hair, and maybe I thought that I was I kind of look like him, or I look like I look like a young Clark Kent or something. In the end, I ended up playing the creator of Superman when I was 19. So there was a interesting connection there too. But yeah, I was into Superman. When I was a kid, the original Christopher Reeve Superman movie came out, and again, that was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing. Superman 1 and Superman 2 were, had that kind of thing had never been done.
Yeah.
And so so yeah, so I was really introduced. I think that's probably also why I really dug Superman.
Well, in my opinion, he's the best Superman. In my opinion, because they've done so.
Oh, for sure. For sure he is. There's no comparison to any other actor who's played Superman, because Christopher Reeves had the vulnerability. I believed his kind of, bumbly quality as Clark Kent. He played Clark Kent so well. And when he had the glasses off, he literally transformed. There's no other Superman actor is like can hold a candle to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. That's pretty cool. You have glasses too. Like I was thinking Superman with the glasses.
I know.
Oh my God, Superman.
I know. You see, it's a totally different person. Yeah. So yeah, but you were into Superman too. What was your favorite comic book or superhero?
Well, let's see. For DC, Marvel, or no, oh my God, DC, Superman, Marvel, Spider-Man.
Yeah, me too. I'd say the same thing. Yeah. I used to, when I was a kid, I'd watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Ever hear that about that show?
I've heard about it. I'm a big Spider-Man nerd, so.
Yeah, I love that show. So I would watch the Super Friends in the early morning, and then I'd watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends around 11. That came on.
Wow. See, the classics, kids nowadays won't understand the classics,
I know. Yeah, those were the days of cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons. That was, I don't know, did they have Saturday morning cartoons anymore? I don't know. I don't think so.
No. Unfortunately not.
Hanna-Barbera, that was like, you could start watching cartoons at 8 a.m. and literally watch them all the way to noon.
Yeah.
Like 11:30, just watching back-to-back cartoons. So flip networks and be watching all these different cartoons.
Yeah, you got Scooby, the Jetsons, the Flintstones.
Yeah. And I was also doing this like Scoobs, it's a ghost, like
Shaggy.
I was okay, Scrappy, Shaggy. So I mean, it was Saturday morning cartoons and kid shows and Rich Little that kind of got me going with, in the voice world. And I used that tool to make fun of my teachers, which was a really important thing to be able to do.
Nice. Now, Adam, what's your favorite acting and voice acting role you've done? You gotta choose.
Oh, well, I would say, I really love doing Wayne on 16. That was a character that Terry McGurran, who's a friend of mine, I think he created that character, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he either created him or liked writing him. Wow. Terry wrote that guy, and he would write me in and give me these like big fat monologues, and I just loved playing Wayne. A lot of fun. Kind of a cantankerous but really smart movie nerd. And I loved Wayne's character, how he always was able to compare a real life situation with a movie, so it's like Wayne was the type of character that like stories, he really got something out of stories and the movies that he sold, and he understood how to interpret them for real life. And I think that's cool, because I get that. I relate to that.
Nice. Do you have a favorite acting role you've done?
Acting role? Well, what have I mean,
you've done so many good shows. You were Judah in Supernatural. You were in Van Helsing, the TV series. You're in so many good things. iZombie.
Well, yeah, that's right. I would say one of my favorite things, actually, you ever see a show called Sanctuary?
Mm-hmm.
I played a guy named Bruno, a guy that could fly and things.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun. I mean, I've done a lot. I like Mr. Stoneman. You mentioned Mr. Stoneman and From When Calls the Heart. I like playing bad guys. I played another bad guy in Arctic Air. I actually played a really fun bad guy in this really gory kind of horror show called Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
And I played like a game show host from sort of like an apocalyptic game show host. I really quite enjoyed that role. But the main reason why I enjoy roles and doing parts is really the people that I get to work with. So at every single show, like say Van Helsing, it was like Kia King and Alex Panovich, and like the people that I work with each thing that I did. With when what was the show, the Lois Wilson story, was Winona Ryder and Barry Pepper that I was lucky to work with. So, even back like a Disney movie I did called My Date with the President's Daughter, I got to work with like Dabney Coleman. And Dabney Coleman was a big act when I was a kid. Like he was the boss in 9 to 5. He was in Cloak and Dagger. Like he was it's great to find out that some of the people that, I look up to as kids like him and others that I've worked with are really great people. So, I mean, for me, being in the trenches and acting has always been about the people that you get to work with, really, and the process of the storytelling as opposed to the final product, which is, sometimes cool, but really it always boils down to let's make this process fun.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's what our work is. That's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So for me, the most important thing is just to go in with a positive attitude and, and look to meet and make new friends.
I like that. Now, if you don't mind, for the viewers at home, Joe here, can you do some of Justin's voice and some of Wayne's voice? It's possible.
Yeah, Justin was like, I'm in it to win it. He was kind of like this. He always had this kind of way of looking at the mirror, looking at himself, and thinking he was a god. So it had that sort of, he loved himself. He's a clinical narcissist, and lovable as well, which I liked about him. And then Wayne, I mean, I'd have to, Wayne was just more this guy. He was really, really into movies. And I'm telling you, he would look at a movie like a rom-com and say, this is actually your life. Don't you see? You're these two lovebirds. Get it together. Like he would try to give advice based on the movies. So it was just an intense kind of guy, but very close to my own voice.
Wow. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. Good job. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have a script. If you had a script for me, I would, happily read some Wayne, but yeah, I got to do a lot of fun cartoons in Toronto, and that I really had a good time with.
I like that. Now, if it's favorite total drama character other than Justin, what would you say?
I should have actually researched this a little bit more. I haven't seen the show in so long. Like, so for you to ask me those questions, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to seem horrible for not knowing the show or forgetting the show. To be honest, I mean, like, it was so long ago. What was it, like 15 years ago?
Yeah.
I did that. Yeah. So like, I honestly, I don't even know if I watched that much of it. Like, I think I saw some of it, but again, like, so much about the work for me is just about the process. So it was about the recording booth, right? Mm-hmm. And enjoying my time. It wasn't so much about watching them all and getting into it. It was about the job and having fun doing the job. So, you're asking me a question that's hard for me to answer. Sorry. Because I didn't watch a lot of the show, even though I loved the scripts,
Sorry, Adam. Sorry.
No. I mean, I can tell you which actors I had fun working with. I know Peter Oldring was in it, and I worked with who else did I enjoy?
Scott Mccord. Did you work?
Scott, loved working with Scott. Yeah, so there was lots of good. The cast was great. It's funny, we didn't always work together on that show. Occasionally we worked together, sometimes it was like, because the cast was so big, I'd only work with like 3 people.
Wow.
In the room. Yeah, 3 or 4 people who you had most of the scenes with. But I've been on other shows, like, with smaller casts. Like, I remember a show called King that I did for 3 seasons. And it was like, there was a cast of like 8 of us, and we did every single episode together. So literally we were all in the same room. And it was like me and Julie Lemieux and Dwayne Hill and a bunch of other people. And, we would do it like a radio play. And we do like 1 episode an afternoon. I think it was every Friday we would meet and do another episode. So some of those experiences were a little more like I can remember a little bit better because it was like the same group of people every single week, no matter what. Whereas Total Drama, we would get switched up with different people from week to week, depending on who we had most of the scenes with. So it was, and because I only did Justin for really I did sort of season 1, but really season 2 is where he was, most involved. I got to know the actors, but it was mainly I knew we're hanging out in the same crowd of act. I didn't know the actors just from Total Drama. I knew the actors because we're all in the same voice world. Yeah. So I didn't make any specific, new connections just doing that show. But it was a blast to make it with, whoever I was making it with that week.
Yeah, because there's if it helps, there's characters like Owen, that's Scott's character.
Yeah.
I
think I got to know Scott through Total Drama, but he and I also did some commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Keep reminding me.
Cody, Ezekiel, and Tyler was Peter's characters.
Okay, yeah.
If it helps, I have a picture of all the characters if you want to see the characters.
No, keep going. I know. Peter and I actually didn't work together too much on that show. I've worked with Peter, but not much on that show.
There's Megan Fallenbach, another 16 alum. She played Gwen.
And I worked with Megan quite a bit. And she's great.
There's Emily Claire Barlow. She was Courtney.
I worked with Emily, and I remember enjoying that a lot. She also was a singer, jazz singer. Yeah.
I'm trying to. Harold was the nerdy guy by Brian Froud. Do you remember him?
Yeah, Brian, and I think I probably got to know Brian on that show too. So yeah, like a great group of people. Great group of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, favorite Total Drama season: Island or Action? That'd be.
So you're asking another question. It's like, oh my God. Well, the Island one was the first one, right?
Yes. And then the Action was the second one. Action was the one where you talked more.
Was it?
Yes, Action.
I talked more in Total Drama Action?
That's the second season, yeah. Yes.
Oh, well then, of course, Total Drama Action is the one that I prefer.
Yeah. And you were actually almost I think you finished 7th place, if I remember correctly, that season 2. So let's move farther in that season. Well,
Good question. Once again, you got me. You'd know more than I did. I remember lasting quite a while.
Yeah, that's probably the season.
I remember laser mazes and doing. The fun thing about making cartoons is you're all standing in a room and you're pretending to do all the things that your character is doing in the show. So it's all you're physicalizing it. You're moving around. You're falling down. You're doing as much as you can to help your imagination. It really is a fun process. It really, really is a fun process.
Well, before I ask you my own next question, I have some fan submitted questions. Adam, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, the first fan submitted question is from Pabst GT. Thoughts on Justin not talking on the episode he was voted off in?
Wait a second. Thoughts on Justin? What? Thoughts on Justin? What?
Not talking on the episode he was voted off in. He was voted off, but he didn't talk the episode.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I didn't get to say anything as I left. That just sucks.
That's just messed up.
That's just messed up. How come I don't get a finale? How come I don't get a sayonara? You know what that boils down to? Budget. I guarantee you it's budget. We got 12 characters already. You know what? Justin doesn't get to say anything.
Dang, that's messed up. I'm sorry, but that's messed up, Adam.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm as bummed as that guy.
Okay, now, okay, underscore.
I realized at the time, though, that I didn't get to speak because, of course, you only know the episodes you're speaking in.
Yeah, true.
So I guarantee you at the time I wasn't disappointed because I didn't realize what was happening.
Okay underscore shirt underscore 1574 asks, how come Justin was attracted to Courtney? That's Emily Kerbarlow's character.
How come Justin was
attracted to her?
You know what? obviously her radiant personality.
Thanks. Sorry.
Which, I mean, I'm sure that I know Emily Claire Barlow is great as a person. It's not a big stretch.
Nice. Okay.
But I couldn't tell you anything more because I don't remember what her character looked like, even how she sounded. Now, sorry, I'm like the worst guest for any actual huge fan of the show. I just kind of showed up and did it. But anyway, I'll try to answer the questions. It's
fine. Fair warning, everybody. It's fine. He forgot. It's been years ago. I understand. I completely understand.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nork K27 Loves Cartoons asks, if you could rewrite some of the stuff about Justin, what would it be?
If I could rewrite some of the stuff about Justin. Well, did Justin ever have did we ever see Justin do something nice to someone? No, we just saw one side of his character. So maybe let's see. I would have liked to have seen Justin see another side of Justin. Maybe a little less self-centered. Just a moment, a flickering of, I can help. Something that gives Justin a little bit more dimension to the character. Maybe is what I would have been fun.
I like that, like a different side of him, like a different personality.
Yeah, different side of him. Yeah. Maybe we find out that he's a narcissist for something happened. He was as a child, something happened. We get to know him on some other level other than the fact that he just loves himself and is an idiot.
Now, Nicholas.
You love idiots.
Nicholas J. C6005 asks, why didn't Justin talk in Ireland, and what were his thoughts on Justin's time as the main action villain?
Why didn't Justin talk and what?
And Ireland, the first season, and what were his thoughts on him becoming a villain in the second season?
I think I did actually talk in the first season. Yeah, that's the reason why I was. That's why I was brought back into season 2, because I think I had like 2 lines.
Wow.
1 line or 2 lines where I made some kind of sound, and then when they realized that they wanted to write more for him in season 2, they were like, "Oh, who played that? Oh, yeah, Adam played that," and then brought me in. So I auditioned for that character in season 1. So I did. I don't remember what I did or what but it was something. It was established that I was Justin in season 1, and then I did it in season 2. And what was the other question?
How did you feel about becoming like the main action villain, the second season? So really the
Oh yeah, I love that. The more juicy stuff you get as a character, the more fun it is, right? The more you get to do, the more fun you have.
Nice.
Always, especially as an actor. It's like all you do as an actor is you get your script and it's just like, okay, how much? Where's my next line? Where's my next line? Okay, there's my next line. Okay, there's my line. I got a line here. Got a line there. Okay. Ooh, good line. Okay, line. Okay, I'm gonna know those lines. I'm not gonna read the script. Yeah, maybe I should read the script. And then you read the script. Yeah, okay, but you're really just focused on what you're doing, what you have to do. But let's be honest.
Nice. Now
all actors look for their lines. They just look through the script and go, oh, hang on. Okay, not there. Okay. And so the more you have, the more fun it is.
Sylvian Emerald asks, given Justin's lack of speech in season 1, was it a challenge to come up with his mannerisms in season 2?
No, because I think I had a good. Even though I didn't say much in the first season, I think that the character just came to me pretty quickly and easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was easy because he's kind of adult. He loves himself. Hey, he's full of himself. So it was, the voice for him came actually fairly naturally and fairly easily.
Okay. Oh, like, was it tough coming up with his like mannerisms, like through the things he would do? That tough?
No, because of course the physical gestures, of course, are created in the animation, and so yeah, no, no, it wasn't hard coming up with how he sounded. it was easy, especially looking at his picture. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, I just play a guy. I mean, so often when you're doing voice work, it has less to do with how he's going to appear, because you don't know how he's going to appear. You don't know how he's going to move or anything, right? Or the character you're playing. So you really have to approach each each voice character as how that person feels. And it's always inside out as opposed to outside in. I mean, there's a little bit of like, oh, there's the character, but ultimately it's the attitude and the emotional quality and the things that are going on internally for the character that I think make a voice come alive.
I like that. Now, Moon Maiden 413 asks, any memorable behind the scenes moments you like to share?
Well, Moon Maiden, any behind the scenes moments I'd like to share? No, other than, again, you've mentioned a good group of actors, from Emily Claire Barlow to Brian Froud, to Megan, and all these people that I got to shuffle in and play with. Megan Fallen, did I mention Megan? Yeah. So it was just a pleasure to work with that team every week. I mean, we just had a blast. It's hardly a job. You're showing up and you're playing for 2 hours, and you're laughing and trying to get through takes without breaking, and so it's the whole thing was quite it was quite a pleasure. Same thing with working on 16. Good funny scripts.
Nice.
And
now,
fun characters.
Ace_TD asks, if Justin was the winner of a season, how would he spend his money? What's like the most outrageous thing it's
Ace, that's a really good question, Ace. How would he spend his money? Probably on a house of mirrors. He would build a house of mirrors so that he could basically walk into the house of mirrors, and in every single angle, up, down, every single way, and he would walk through, and it would be a maze, and it might be confusing, but at least he would get to look at himself while he tried to figure out his way out. So I think he would enjoy that a lot. He might get frustrated, but at least he gets to be frustrated while looking at his own reflection, while he tries to, find a way out of the house of mirrors. Yeah, that'd be it. House of mirrors. That's actually and probably a really nice car, like a McLaren, like something really $300,000. My son will be embarrassed that I can't mention an actual model, McLaren model, but some kind of McLaren, I'm sure he would buy.
I could see that it was a mirrors, though. I don't know why. I could see that too.
It's funny. Yeah.
Before I go to my next question, too, I just want to say thank you, everybody, too, for submitting questions for Adam to answer.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your interest. Thanks, everyone.
Did you hear about the new 2 seasons for Total Drama? I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
Yes.
Yes, I think I did, actually. Yes, I did. So I'm sorry. I did. Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be cool, like, if Justin came back,
I'll ask him. I'll ask. Part of the problem is I'm in Vancouver. So I'm not on their time zone. And so that is one of the reasons why I didn't do future seasons of Total Drama, is because they just want everybody there. This is renting another studio and being on another time zone. But you know what? I'll ask. I know the producer and the head writer. I'll ask him.
That'd be cool. Justin comes back for revenge. Nice.
Yeah. Are they the same characters, or are they different characters? I think they're different characters.
I heard like mixed things. It might be some of the original, some new, or just all new. I don't know. Like mixed. I heard like mixed.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'll ask for you.
Thank you.
I need a job too.
If you were really on an island, what 3 famous people, dead or alive, would you want to bring on the island with you?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I would say Ricky Gervais.
Okay.
Ricky Gervais, because I want to laugh. So Ricky Gervais. Although that he seems like quite the trickster. But anyway, that would be fun. And I think I'll go childhood kind of. I was fascinated with Marilyn Monroe, so I think that'd be cool to meet her and hang out with her. And I'm gonna go with also she'd be fun, I'm sure. And I'm gonna also go with I think we all would need to relax. We definitely need a spiritual influence. And so I would go with Gandhi. So it's going to be Gandhi, Marilyn Monroe, and Ricky Gervais and me.
Wow. Interesting choice.
That's a good group.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like that. Is there a role you would love to portray, like in a movie or TV show, like a time travel or superhero? Is there a role you want to do?
Oh boy.
That's tough. It's going to be tough.
I've never done a I think it'd be fun to. I think it would be fun to do like a Marvel style superhero with a sense of humor, kind of like Ant-Man. Something like that would be fun. I think being in a sci-fi thing like would be fun too. Something Star Wars-esque, I think would be really cool. I mean, Lost in Space was a little bit of that, which was cool. I mean, being on the ship and driving those vehicles and being in that world is quite fun. So sci-fi would be fun, maybe superhero. I mean, I'm a big fan of comedy.
Okay.
So anything funny will get me.
I like that. I've actually, believe it or not, you said you like comedy. I actually had on a couple hours ago. I recorded an episode with the comedian Pete Holmes.
No.
He's like a popular comedian. He's got a new show called How We Roll. I highly recommend it. You might like his comedy.
Okay, cool. I'll check him out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars and directors you work with, Adam?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a few directors. I think Facebook is good for that. There's a few directors, producers, writers that I've worked with. Certain actors. I mean, we all follow each other. And we keep in touch that way. So yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, it's about who you're working with and the relationships you forge when you're doing those jobs, and hopefully you can meet interesting people and continue being friends, right? But yeah, for sure I do.
Nice. Now, if you didn't go into voice acting or acting, what do you think you would have done as a career instead? And what other hobbies do you have?
Well, what would I do instead? The first thing I wanted to be when I was a kid was astronaut. That was the very, very first. So not being great in math, I probably wouldn't make astronaut. But that's what I thought that would be really, I think I'm very interested in space. I'm interested in I'm very interested in anything to do with astronomy, and so that's probably be interesting to me. Other than that, not sure. I'd be a good lawyer, I bet.
I could see you being a lawyer. I could see that.
I could put cases together and convince people of most things. Actually, the truth is, I'm very interested in naturopathy and the healing arts, and so I think that would be something else that I would actually be more interested in now. Like if I had to choose right now, if I had to change careers right now, I'd probably go into some form of natural health.
I could see. I could see that though. Honestly, Adam. I could.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's people. I mean, I think it's a real service, and yeah, I can see myself serving in that way.
Now, favorite band or artist and type of music?
Well, I would say like I'm a fan of the I grew up listening to my dad's albums, and so the first band that I kind of really hit me was The Who. Ever heard of the Who?
The Who? The Who? Is it like who are you?
That's right.
But like
Yeah. So they were big for me as a kid. My first album was Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy. And but I liked all the music of the 60s and 70s, late 60s and 70s. I'd say a big favorite of mine is the Band. Ever heard of the Band?
It's called The Band. That's the band.
It's called The Band. They're just called The Band. So there's a movie called The Last Waltz that Martin Scorsese directed, and it's their last concert. And they have everybody like from Joni Mitchell to Neil Diamond to, like Bob Dylan. Everybody comes, the Staple sisters, everybody comes or Staple Singers, sorry. Everybody comes and does a guest, like a song with them. And it's a great film, but it's a really good way to appreciate their music too. But I'm also a big jazz fan. So, I like all sorts of people, Kenny Burrell and Jimmy Smith and Cannonball Adderley and Dave Brubeck and all sorts of people, Oscar Peterson, all sorts of people in the jazz world. I can get into jazz as well. And then like on the funk side, I'm again back to the 70s, Stevie Wonder, that type of thing. Yeah. But I'm not really like, I listen to the modern music and stuff, but I couldn't tell you who. Like I don't like, I'm not that I can't talk about it as much. I listen to what my son listens to basically, but I get to tell you what it is.
In my opinion, like I said, back in the day music though, better than today's crap.
Seems to be. Yeah.
When you said Neil Diamond, doesn't he seem like Sweet Caroline? I think sweet.
Yes, Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. Good times never felt so good. Yeah. Yeah, Neil Diamond, I mean, yeah. He's fun. He's fun, but I mean, I would say there's something about the Band. Like when Eric Clapton saw the Band, he was like, I might as well retire because that's what I want to be, and I can't be that good, and they're doing it. They are, in terms of just like individual musicians, they are some of the best musicians ever to come together.
Wow.
So yeah, if you want to listen to some, but it's kind of like folk meets rock meets, it's very good, very different.
What's their most known song? I might know their most known song. You just go and listen to them. Go find them. I probably like The Wait is a famous song of theirs. The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, but it's called, that's, some of their songs aren't like the actual chorus. Mm-hmm. So I might not be able to help you there. So you just have to go and, off the top of my head, go and listen to them. The Band, yeah. Now, favorite sports and teams? I don't know if you like sports and favorite food.
I don't favorite sports and teams. No, I'm not a huge, I don't follow a lot of sports. I'll watch a Jays game, a Blue Jays game. I like to watch sports when they're like the stakes are high. Okay. So I am kind of a fair weather playoffs, watch sports. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite sports team?
Hockey, the Canucks.
Oh, that's right, the Canucks. My home, where I live. And you got into it because you had a special connection with somebody on one of the players, right? Yes,
when I was 3 or 2 years old, Marcus Nelson gave me like a hockey stick after his practice, and like he said, "You want this, buddy?" And then ever since then, Canucks fan.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I love watching sports. Canucks games are great. We just watched. I just was at a soccer game on the weekend with our Vancouver Whitecaps. I certainly like watching sports, but I don't know that much about them, other than sports. Let's go! Yay! Go teams! Like penetrate, touchdown, score! Like it's. I enjoy the act of watching them, but I couldn't tell you anything about who is, any of the players, anything really. But I do like being outside. Like I'd much prefer to go throw the ball around or play tennis or, or go biking and, than watch anything. Play road hockey. I'm much more kind of an active outdoors person as opposed to someone who's going to spend a lot of time watching games on TV.
Do you have a favorite food? Sorry.
My favorite food, I really like eggs and avocado. And
eggs and avocado.
That sounds really boring.
It's interesting. It's an interesting combo.
I like eggs. Well, I just had eggs and and I fried up some mushrooms and some salad. I had some salad. I don't know. Yeah, like I'm a foodie. I like all sorts of food.
Where's my I'm kidding. Yeah.
What is your favorite food?
I like burgers and pasta. I like those two.
Yeah, I love burgers. I love pasta too.
Nice.
I have a hard time like choosing a favorite, like my son asks me all the time, what's your favorite sports car or your favorite, and I'm like, oh my God, he asks me these types of questions all the time. And I'm much more, I like a buffet, I like a variety of things. Same thing with my music, same thing with my sports, same thing with my food. I eat a nice variety of things.
Is there a food that you can't stand, like you hate, like I can't eat this, it's bad, or there?
Not really. No, I mean, I don't, there's a couple of things I'm not a big fan of, like kiwis. I don't like the texture of the fur on the outside of the skin. And it gets me,
so do you
I've got an allergic reaction to them too.
So bring you kiwi, I'm kidding. I said I was going to bring you kiwis. I'm kidding.
What did you say? Oh, I'm allergic to kiwis, like New Zealanders.
Do you want me to bring you kiwis? I'm kidding.
Oh, do you want to bring me kiwis? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, I'm pretty open with most foods. Yeah.
Now that things are getting back to normal, do you have any projects in the works?
Well, I've been working for a few years on a web series that I wrote and directed and produced called Hospital Show. Mm-hmm. And I released it on YouTube at the end of 2019, kind of 2020, and actually right over the pandemic. And it's done very well there. You can find it youtube.com/hospital show. It is an adult. It's definitely adult. So it's not for kids, but I would say over 14, it's fine. Okay. There's some language in it. And so I've been I'm basically continuing to work on that, developing that into a half-hour show. I'm working on another comedy that I'm really inspired by. And, my thing with acting is that I went to film school. I didn't go to theater school. So I would say, in terms of, for me anyway, if my advice for anyone who wants to be an actor would be to find more than just acting that you're into, like create yourself. I've always been a proponent and a big believer in, like, don't just sit there waiting for a phone call, like make it happen. And Hospital Show is a good example of that. Like, it was an idea I had in my head. I've directed, I very, very quickly just started directing for a living out of film school, but I hadn't gone back and made something I really wanted to make. It's one thing to direct commercials for companies and people that are hiring you. It's another thing to say, hang on a second. If I were back in film school, what's the film? What's the thing I want to do? What's the story I want to tell? And so with Hospital Show, I got to do that. And that was a huge, real pleasure. And now you can watch, if you're in the States, actually States, Canada, and the UK, you can watch it on Roku. Do you have Roku?
Yes.
Yes. So go check out the Roku channel. Watch it on Roku.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Would love to have views on Roku.
I actually, believe it or not, when you mentioned it, when we talked on the phone after, I actually watched it on YouTube.
Oh, you did? Watch the whole thing?
Yes. It was really good. Really good.
Oh, thanks.
Really good. I really liked especially your character, Will. Good show.
Well, Will is, it was fun to make that. Hospital Show is about the broken, deluded, lovable actors who play TV's most respected doctors. And so anytime that there is comedy, usually there's tragedy. kind of side by side to any comedy. And so with every character in the show, there was something that they're dealing with, and in Will's case, he's an alcoholic, an actual alcoholic who plays an alcoholic on TV. So it's that blurring of the lines for this guy who, even if he wanted to get sober, he plays someone who drinks. So it's that kind of house of mirrors that I really enjoyed about that character. And then just the paranoia, the insecurity, of the character in the show is told that he's not going to be a good surgeon anymore. And so it's like that idea of, when you're so close to a character, how do you prove yourself? And so a lot of the show is about finding out who you really are, finding out who your identity is, even though you wear this mask, you pretend to be someone else every single day. It's a love letter to actors, because I think actors have a very complex, rich life, but it's complicated. It's complicated, and it's not always easy to do what we do, because it can be not really the voice world, but the on-camera world, depending on the kinds of roles you're doing. There's some vulnerability there. People have to allow themselves to show real emotion at times and really go deep in themselves, and that's vulnerable. So I think that so Hospital Show on many levels is a love letter to something that I've been doing since I was 12 years old.
It's a great concept too, like you said. In my opinion, a great concept.
Thanks. Yeah, it was. I'm just glad I got to make it without anybody telling me how to make it, other than myself.
Now, Adam, what's your advice? You kind of mentioned it already. What's your advice for younger people on becoming an actor, actress? What's your advice? Yeah,
well, I would say that don't do it to be famous.
Okay.
Don't go and be an actor and think that if that's the goal, then you probably should not go into it. That'd be the first piece of advice that I would give, because most likely you won't be famous. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll be a working actor, I think. I mean, I certainly think also the other piece of advice is don't be afraid to be an actor. A lot of people say, well, you're not going to make a living, and it's too hard, and there's too much competition. Well, someone's got to do those parts. Someone's got to get those parts. So if you're talented and you really love it, go out and do it. I just think that the goal of being an actor should be about the process, about exploring different parts of yourself, about meeting other people and creating interesting relationships and learning what it is to be in the moment, in your body, and present, and be able to be in a scene with another actor but have the whole world, the outer world, outside world melt away. It isn't about being famous. That could be something that occurs as kind of a byproduct, but at the end of the day, it is not about being famous. It's about exploring different parts of yourself through different characters that you get to play. And then the third piece of advice, so first, don't be afraid. Second, don't do it because you're going to think you're going to be famous. Third, I would say don't, like I said before, I touched on this, don't just wait for the phone calls.
Yeah.
Write, produce, try to direct things, create, paint, do paintings, do anything that is creative other than just acting. Because I think people who find a passion, do something outside, like find something you love to do that isn't acting, and I would say also something that is creative that isn't acting, because I think there's a lot of times when actors are just sort of waiting around and trying to get work, and during that time you could be creating in different ways. And I think when you find different ways to express yourself, it's going to only make you a better actor anyway.
I like that. Actually, like stay humble. Remember where you came from. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think anybody who is truly successful is
I don't know. I mean, truly successful at what? How do you define that? But certainly, truly successful to me would be, someone who is able to do, to be an actor and with all of the sort of trappings of, whatever the external life side of being an actor is, which is press and other things, and just kind of, take it all with a grain of salt, because ultimately it should be about the relationships you're making and the process and the fun you're having.
Before I ask you my last question, Adam, do you have any questions? Does Adam have any questions?
Do I have any questions? Well, my question to you would be, you said that you loved Total Drama Island. What is it about Total Drama Island or Total Drama Action that made it so important in your life?
Well, I grew up with that. I watched it. I was like 6 or 7. I just grew. I watched it on TV. I thought the animation was really cool. The characters, I thought it was really cool. Like an interesting concept too, and really funny. It's like nostalgic. I feel like I'm actually, believe it or not, showing the one. Remember my little sister that drew this picture? She's actually watching it for the first time. I'm showing it to her. It's like a little rewatch, I guess, for me, and she's like loving it. So.
How old is she?
10 years old.
Oh, she's 10. Oh, perfect age. Perfect age.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of sort of teenage stuff that's happening in the show, and kids tend to look up when, in terms of their viewing habits. They're looking up at something that involves 13-year-olds if they're 10, for example.
Mm-hmm. And she's like enjoying it, especially she thinks Justin's funny. She thinks, oh my God, he takes off his shirt off. This character.
I'm not as in good a shape as Justin, sadly.
So yeah, it's like a good, cool nostalgic feeling. When I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, I grew up with this. It's like, I love it. Okay, Adam, I love the show.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, it sounds like it gives you joy.
Yes, I love the show. Sorry, these are like my favorite type of interviews, is the troll drama ones, because I'm like, I grew up with it. It feels weird too. Like when I watch it, my niece, I'm like, my little sister and niece, I'm like, Danielle, that's like somebody I talk to. Like, oh my God, it feels weird. You know what I mean, Adam? Like it feels crazy.
Yeah, and yet everybody is just. We're all just real people. Everybody puts their pants on in the morning, and we're all looking for pearls, in life, and amongst life's many challenges. So I'm glad that this was something that really inspired you, and I'm glad that I was a part of it, because I know it really inspired a lot of people. It's great to be a part of things that give people joy.
And touch others. It touches.
Touch. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's really nice, and it's neat to see people respond and engage with the work that you do, for sure. Because that's one big point of it, is what we're doing is we're entertaining. So I mean, the fact that people respond to what your work is a great feeling, because if you're doing something and people aren't responding to it, or they don't like it, I would imagine that part of what you do would feel, as an actor, would feel kind of empty. So it's certainly nice that some of the projects that I've done, like Total Drama, have really inspired people like you. It's great, and inspired people like you to make shows, like to do this and reach out to us.
Thank you.
I mean, this is huge that you're doing this, and your mom just called me or called someone that I work with, and like, how can we, can we get Adam to talk to Joe? And it's great. Like I'm totally happy to do this. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. Any other closing questions, Adam, before I ask my last one? Or?
No, I'm good. No. Yeah, I appreciate being here.
Well, Adam, is there anything you would like to promote and shout out? I hope link down below.
Well, like I said, the main thing is Hospital Show just went to the Roku channel. Mm-hmm. Go to the Roku channel and check it out. And other than that, no, there's nothing really that I need to plug at the moment, other than plug the outdoors. I'll plug nature. Go and be in nature. Go have a walk along the water or in the woods, and connect to some trees, connect to the fresh air. That's my plug.
Nice. Do you want me also to help you out? Do you have Twitter and Instagram? I can link out those down below for you too, for people.
Oh yeah, I'm at Adam G. Reid on Instagram. I think I'm just Adam Greydon Reid maybe on Twitter. Yeah, those are the two that I do.
I got you. So people can follow you, help you out.
Yeah, they can follow me. Yeah, on those two platforms. I'm mostly on Instagram, but people can mainly follow me there. Yeah.
Got you. I need to help you out. Well, I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, and Adam, for being an awesome and amazing guest. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. It was a pleasure. And thanks, everybody. Thanks for the questions.
Yes. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Adam.
You too.